What happens if you achieve the things that you say that you want? What happens if you get there? Just imagine for a second.
Shut the fuck up. What the hell are you talking about? When you expect to feel like you always want to go to the gym or always want to do your taxes or always want to do whatever it is you think is important, you have made a grand illusion. Some of the time, you will not want to do the thing.
You can believe you're not worthy of a thing and still attain it. You can be adamant that your efforts are going to go badly and still succeed. You can have no self-belief and show up anyway. You'd ever get to. Self-belief is overrated. Generate evidence, says Ryan Holiday. And this resilience of doing good things in spite of you not believing in them or believing that they're going to happen is pretty miraculous.
Everybody has that voice in their head that says, hey, could you really do this? Is it going to happen?
When you expect to feel like you always want to go to the gym or always want to do your taxes or always want to do whatever it is you think is important, you have made a grand illusion. Some of the time, you will not want to do the thing. The motivation will spike here. What it takes to get the thing done is up here. And at that point, there's not an amount of motive. You're all done motivating. It's still not enough.
Preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list for the thing isn't doing the thing. Telling people you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Messaging friends who may or may not be doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Writing a banger tweet about how you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on the obstacles in the way of you doing the thing isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing.
No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. The bottom line is, no one's coming. No one.
So there's nothing there. And just think, there's no one coming to save you, except Mr. Goggins, who's going to punch you square in your face and tell you shut up and do the thing. And that is 100% what you need right there.
You realize, well, why are you putting time into something in the beginning that you don't want to see through? Why? Or just because you have like a rough moment or a rough patch? Why is it so easy for you to quit? Why is the idea of quit so quick to you to come up with, and why are you so comfortable with the results of that? I shouldn't be, and that shouldn't be my motto.
The person you have to spend the most time listening to in your life is yourself. Try not to lose their respect. And self. How on earth do you think that you're going to be able to move mountains and get out of that relationship that you don't like and move countries or change career when you can't not hit snooze, even though last night you promised yourself that you weren't going to hit snooze? And it's how people that are able to do extraordinary things have been able to get there.
I didn't want to keep forgiving myself on Sunday and then repeat and do the same shit again Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and then go, oh, now I can be forgiven. I was like, no, man. Forgive me, Father. I know what I'm doing. And I'm keep doing it. Cut the shit, McConaughey. Quit giving yourself that out, that parachute.
I actually think the greatest consequence in life is not keeping commitments to yourself. And I think that compounds to, as we talked about, where does beliefs come from? I think it compounds as personal evidence, which is deposited in this instruction manual of who you are and how you behave and how you show up and what you're capable of. All those tiny little commitments. And then I think you can get into a downward commitment spiral because of that, because you think you're
You don't have faith in your own word.
This is your new life. Take it or leave it. There's no happiness about it. There's no peace behind it. It sucks. It just fucking sucks.
Momentum doesn't come from knowing where you're going. It comes from knowing that I don't want to be here anymore.
That is so important because so many people stay where they are because they don't know where they want to go next.
I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. And this relates to another one, which is a reminder for the gladiators in the arena who feel beat up and scarred with no hope in sight. Building a business is hard. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like. And this is why most people can't do it, but you can. This is what hard feels like.
Discipline. It's all about discipline, doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. That's what it's all about. But if you don't have discipline, I don't care how skillful you are, you're nothing.
And when you go from being uncomfortable, that's your lifestyle, you get used to being uncomfortable. Right. When you go back to being comfortable, your mind says, I don't want to go back to being uncomfortable again.
But you have an excuse that only you need to believe. And you believe that excuse, so it excuses you from working harder on the stuff you know you should be doing but aren't. And that work, the work you know you should be doing but aren't, is the opportunity, because that is the work that your competitors also aren't doing. List all the things that you aren't willing to give up for the dreams that you have, and that is what the person who will beat you is willing to give up.
Change is an action-based affair. You cannot make a change by ruminating in your mind. And I have a tool that I think will be helpful for this. And that tool is a phrase, and that phrase is mood follows action. Instead of waiting for the feeling to inspire the action, take the action and enjoy the feeling as a consequence of having undertaken it.
You do not become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt. And ultimately, hoping that you're going to be able to believing that you can think your way out of a thinking problem is like believing you can sniff your way out of a cocaine addiction, right? You have to give yourself something else that's going to step change where you're at. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. Building a business is hard. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like, and this is why most people can't do it, but you can. This is what hard feels like.
Just because you feel something doesn't mean you need to act on it. And if you have an idea that you want to act on because of a feeling, if it still feels good in the morning, then do it. But I've never regretted taking time before acting when I was angry. But I sure as hell have regretted almost everything that I've done immediately the moment I felt angry.
You find it in the suck. You find it in the suck, and you find it repeatedly in the suck, to the point where you know exactly who you are. Fucking the purpose is you. We forget that. Every day I wake up and I don't want to do some fucking shit. I'm like, okay, man, do you want to be a today? Do you want to feel like a little? Do you want to walk around all day knowing that you could but you didn't? So it's perform without purpose. You have to learn how to get up and do shit when you ain't got no 5K, no 10K, nothing. Nothing exists.
If I'm running on a treadmill and I get to mile 9 and I get complete cramp in one of my legs, and I know I've told myself I'm going to run 10 kilometers today, he goes, I will have to limp the last mile, even if no one's watching, because I can't let the demons in. And if I let the demons in, they'll show up in the 11th round of a championship fight when there's 50,000 people watching me in the audience, and I know deep in my self-story that I'm the type of person that quits when things get hard.
But next day, I'm very capable, and I learn that, listen, Cristiano, let's go. Life continue. Past is past, it's never come again. The present, it's the best gift that we have in our life, the present. Because you don't know that what's gonna happen tomorrow. You don't know. Yeah, I don't know, you don't know. So live the present, because you have more to show. You understand? Life continue. You cannot live in the past. I'm really good on that, you understand? I learn by the years that, listen, Cristiano, let's go. Because pain, you're gonna have all the time, uncertainty and constant work. Constant work, constant work. It doesn't matter what's it's gonna happen in your life, you have to continue. This is the way I see the life. You lie to yourself. You have to be yourself. Doesn't matter if the people like or not. You think I'm gonna change now? Our Christian self is always, I'm gonna change now. You think with nearly 40 years old, I'm gonna change? Of course not. Oh, you like me or you don't like me, it's part of the life.
Whatever shit I feel, I'm gonna still put in the same work, regardless of how I feel, and that's a champion mentality, because champion's not controlled by their outside circumstances, they control their own mind inside and how they act, and then the world goes on around them.
Struggle doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It usually means you're on a real one, right? Struggle doesn't mean you're making a mistake. Struggle could mean that you have a lot to learn to get to this goal. If you have something you really value, don't change what you value, change the path to get there. Pain isn't proof of misalignment. It's proof you're growing. It's proof it matters. And ultimately, it reveals to you whether it matters enough.
But it does mean you can't be strong if you're weak. If you're weak, you're fucked. And there's a lot of weak people in this country right now that are trying to take control. And they're gathering up all the other weak people and they say, yeah, let's all be weak together.
I'm gonna do the same thing again today, but I'm gonna try to go harder. That's the hardest thing in the world. To get up every day and give 100% and be in the same position that you were each day, but mentally know that you're trying and trying and trying. That's a real grind.
Something clicked. that I'll never probably be able to do again, when my mind, body, spirit, soul, everything just connected. And my mind knew I wasn't fucking around anymore. It knew I wasn't gonna quit. It knew that guy was dead and buried and gone. And I was gonna die out here on this I'm out for whatever reason why I was gonna get through this. I didn't give a damn. It made there was no crowds, there was no trophy at the end. I wasn't even in a race in my mind. It was nothing. It wasn't about nothing. There was no nothing. It was a bunch of people who didn't know who the fuck I was, and it was me against me.
Wood, who always said, you can't think your way into writing, you have to write your way into thinking. So if you just start writing, your brain will eventually go, oh, we're doing this now.
Which is why for me, doing is being. Then it goes into, okay, if doing is being, then who I am is what I do, rather than who I am is what other people think I do. And so that means that when external circumstances get bad, what do I do? That is who I am. By shifting that perspective, your identity becomes rooted in the actions that you can control. Your identity becomes under your control.
Man, I was born some sickly little abused kid, afraid of everything. But I built up that dog, and once you build that dog in you, man, the pain and the suffering and the lonely nights and the fucking unbalance, if you put the right people in that foxhole with you, you are a dangerous motherfucker. Very dangerous.
If people really care about changing minds, they need to realize, and assuming that they think that they're correct, they need to realize that like intellectual chasm from where they are and where other people are. And you go, okay, I'm gonna take you one step at a time.
You know, fuck your tired body, fuck that unmotivated mind, and get out there and do it anyway. You know, you better fight yourself, because you're not only winning when things are going your way. You gotta figure out how to win when things aren't going your way. You gotta figure out when your body's fighting you, when your mind's fighting you. How do you still, you know, just say, fuck it, I'm gonna beat my mind today.
I feel to be at the pinnacle of any game, in whatever you do, you've got to be a little bit gone to it. You're not all there. You've got to be almost insane to your craft.
What the fuck do you expect? You're not putting in the work. You have to do more. You gotta stop telling yourself that you're doing enough. In life, it's never enough until you feel this overwhelming feeling of shit, man. I'm outworking the crowd. I'm outworking everybody. I'm doing more. It's not until then, once you get there, that's when you fucking know you've done enough. Stay hard. It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks.
You know, success is all about a lifestyle. I lived the lifestyle of the champion at 14. Discipline. It's all about discipline, doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. That's what it's all about.
I've allowed life to make me feel like a loser. And a lot of us allow life to do that, and we accept it. And a lot of us talk about how we believe in God. We believe in something higher than us. If that is truth, you won't allow yourself to feel that way.
And train it into myself until I built an identity, and this is who I am. And your identity is the strongest force you have. The strongest force in any personality is to stay consistent with your identity. If you think, you know, you're a loser, you find a way to lose. If you're Lance Armstrong and you say your core belief, your identity, not just your belief, is I am a guy that finds the way to victory, instead of saying it's over, I will find the way, and created Livestrong, and he survived. Identity is the force that controls you, and when you enhance your identity, you enhance your whole life.
Your best work has to come when you're least motivated. Where does that come from? It comes from basically, I had to stop thinking normal. I had to stop thinking normal. I can no longer be a common man walking around doing common things. But no one taught me this stuff. It wasn't like I had, I paid a trainer to come train me. Jenny Craig didn't come down and miracle my ass. None of this happened. It was on me.
Not over till I win. Not over till I get through. It's not over till I get over. Not over till I get what I want.
A blade does not become strong. It does not become tempered until it's been through the fire. Until it's been through the fire several times. And this is just your first or second time through the fire. And there's a lot of hammer work that has to take place.
The greatest of all qualities to guarantee success is the absolute willingness to go at anything and refuse to stop until you achieve it. And you know something? The statistics show that 95% of the goals that you set for yourself, you will achieve if you refuse to quit.
My new norm is you get up every fucking morning at 4 o'clock and you suffer. This is your new norm. That became my new fucking life. Most people want to get out of it. I said, no, motherfucker, this is your new life. This is who you are. Your new norm is you wake up and you suffer. And I started realizing if that's my mentality, this shit ain't hard anymore. Right. Your fucking new norm is you wake up, you get in the fucking cold water, you're gonna be here till the shit's fucking done.
Stop trying to be like everyone. You don't even like everyone.
Will also be for most people listening, because again, we talk about the barriers to confidence. So one is of course the inner critic, right? That loud voice that is just telling you you're not good enough, that's stopping you from putting your best foot forward. But the other is this constant concern of what will someone else think? And this is holding us back in so many ways.
The common feeling that your life has not begun, that your present reality is a mere prelude to some idyllic future. This idyll is a mirage that'll fade as you approach, revealing that the prelude you rush through is in fact the one to your death.
If you want to find purpose, you have to take accountability for your life. And what I mean by that is like no one can bestow it upon you. No one can just give you a purpose. It is within you and it is there to be discovered, right? But at the same time, everything that happens to us in our lives, we have to say, okay, how did I contribute to this? How am I responding to this? How can I make this bad situation better? What did I do to make the situation happen?
Inspiration is a thing that can be either positive or negative, and it jolts you into deciding to take action on this thing that you might not have wanted to do, but now you're more keen on doing.
So I had this clock that was very aware that this was going to take time and that I had to look at the failure as the path to success. And so I thought, well, every joke that doesn't get a laugh is teaching me what not to do. Mm-hmm. And then I'm trying to think of the first thing that I thought was very funny.
That you thought, not that the result worked, because I think that's a really interesting part, right? I feel like sometimes we wait for the result to make us believe that we're worthy.
Yeah.
But there's a moment that I think when you do what you love, you're like, oh no, I can do this.
It's a very instrumental view of life that everything is done in order to achieve the next thing. So at no point do you actually arrive. It's a great question. Okay, when are you going to arrive? Tell me when you're going to arrive.
Anger was good. Anger was good because it was motivating. The more I could create an enemy, the more I wanted to go out and kill those guys. Now, I knew I wasn't going to kill them physically, but man, if I could just, what did they say? You know, and what did they look like? Did they disrespect me at all? You know, and did that asshole say something? Like, those are little things that can get me right in the emotional frame of mind that when I ran on the field and I said, let's fucking go. It was really, let's go kick some ass.
I want to talk to you because I've never seen a student in my 30 years who can stand in front of all these other kids and mesmerize and hold their attention for 30 or 45 minutes and influence them. He said, you have a gift. And I'm looking at him like he's crazy. He says, there's something about how much you care and something about your intensity, something about your style. I have a speech here that I'd like you to read, and if it appeals to you, he said, I think this is your life. I read this story, the title was The Will to Win, and it was my life. It was like, I could cry just thinking about it. It was so intense. I mean, reading it and crying, just going, I'm only here still, all that I've been through because of my pure will that I will not give up.
Just because something's difficult doesn't mean it's good. And there's a lot of things that you do that are very difficult to do, and then you see other people have achieved them, you say that must be really worthwhile, and then you do it and you realize like, oh, this isn't worth anything, this is just hard to do.
It's so easy to be successful nowadays because people are weak.
Yeah.
Everybody's weak. It is so easy. If you are even a weekend savage, you will run these kids over. Yeah. And for every single person, it's giving me chills again, for every single person that likes to castigate the very padded victimhood mentality of the modern world, okay, cool. Like you can rail against people that say that the world is against them even though it's not, and etc., etc. Become successful in whatever domain I choose to. The bar is set so low.
We need to get stronger. We need to get ballsier. We need to get tougher. We need to not be afraid of failure. We got to go into the work. We got to face adversity. Adversity breeds character. It's strength and fighting and resistance. It does not only make the muscle grow, but it makes also your head grow, makes you a stronger person. We have to be willing to go through hardship, through suffering, through pain, through crying periods, all of that stuff. Don't shy away from any of that because it just makes you stronger.
I think when it comes to internal stuff, willpower, habits, discipline, because you can't see it, because it's inbuilt in a way. It feels like it's part of your sense of self. And I think that limits maybe people's understanding of how much they can move that and lift the ceiling.
You lose the pack. You lose the pack because the pack is like, I want it here. Because it didn't show up here, I gotta go figure out a new thing to do that's gonna give it to me here. And they gotta recycle, like...
They lose focus.
Yes, you're never completing anything. You never finish nothing. So the thing that you think you're focusing on, you keep quitting to start something else that you think is the idea, and it's just a cycle.
You know, there's two ways that human beings will basically learn. One is by willfully shedding, and the other is by being broken open. And often it's a combination. And so words and phrases and expressions that matter are expressed in those openings.
The same vigilance it takes to work when you're exhausted just so you can provide for your family is the same vigilance you need to heal internally and to wage those wars against childhood trauma, the mother wound, the father wound, whatever it is that's causing you to lose in life. It's time that we learn how to fight the right fight.
And he carries it up a hill with no fanfare at the end, no finish line, doesn't post it on social media unless the team's there filming it with someone else, and then carries it back down, puts it in the boot of his Raptor, drives away. And he just does that because he needs to remind himself that he's doing the stuff that is hard. And this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win, combined with this is what hard feels like.
It's like, it's that idea of like going, it's not repetition, it's iteration. It's like lots of different, doing the same thing again and again doesn't make you better, but like tweaking it. And knowing what to tweak is that you have to listen to an inner critic.
I just keep pushing. I just keep myself in motion the entire time. And I talk about dials, not switches, a lot with people. And it sounds selfish, but I have to be selfish right now in order to be selfless later. So I tell guys, as soon as that alarm clock goes off, I'm not thinking about my wife. I'm not thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about being as efficient as humanly possible. And I'm trying to hit that gym so I unrack at 07 the best version of me.
People say, like, I'm driven by discipline. That's categorical nonsense. That's actually impossible. You have to be driven by something. And so the first construct that's very helpful, and it's also a very short-lived one, is called inspiration. Inspiration, real simple to define. It's the thing that gets you going. A little squirt of juice in your thigh.
I remember thinking that my imagination made it worse. In my own head, it was going to be the worst thing ever. Then I actually fought him, and it wasn't. It's like, it was okay. I did okay. Right? But that taught me a very early lesson, is that we can get in our own heads so much. We can psych ourselves out so much. We can almost talk ourselves into a fearful situation, as opposed to just being.
The most important thing to do is change your state first. That's why most people fail to achieve what they want. They have not become masters of their own mental, emotional state. Because without that, you won't get lasting change. You'll get temporary change.
Yes.
Once I get enough state, I can change the story. That's easy. Once I change the story, if I don't give you the strategy, you'll find a strategy. Yes. You'll make it happen. You'll find a way. You'll make.
Nobody has the confidence in the decisions that you're making for yourself like you do. So if you're waiting for that to connect in the beginning stages, it may or may not. If it doesn't, it shouldn't prevent you from like following through on whatever the line of like go is for you. The money is never coming fast.
But I think the ultimate version of the hypertrophy, when the muscle becomes a tendon or it just becomes fused, is when you don't even consider how you feel. It's just not a thought. You just do it.
That's that movement from sort of type 2 to type 1 thinking. From it being very conscious, very effortful, to it's just a reaction. I get up and I start to write.
Right.
And
you don't use up any willpower.
No, because it's just what you do.
Don't fail to pursue what it is you think you're meant to pursue in your life until you have total tranquility, for instance. That you have the house or the apartment you would like, until you have the relationship you would like, until you have the... Don't put it off until then. Or until the world is peaceful, which will never happen. Never happen. Never has happened, never will happen. Don't put it off till then, because if you put it off till then, it means you'll put it off forever. So do whatever you're meant to be doing now. Start now if you haven't started already. And if you started already, don't go any slower.
life is what happens while we're making other plans. Like it's a brilliant observation. Oh, once I've got this done, once I get my degree, then life will begin. Once I've just got to pass these exams and get to that thing and buy that house, and then I've just got to pay this off, and then I've got to and then we can start.
I can't miss morning movement. I can't do it. That will ruin my day.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm rushed through morning movement, if somebody comes in, somebody beats on the door and they're like, hey, we were in the neighborhood, just wanted to come see you. Can we talk for 20 minutes? No, you can't. No, I'm sorry. And I know it sounds bad. You can't, because I know what happens if I miss this day, and I'm not willing to take the chance on you right now. You can wait an hour. Wait till I'm done.
Any athlete knows that you can be the same physical being from one day to the next, one moment to the next, and perform completely differently just depending on what you're thinking. I was a gymnast growing up, and if you can't visualize, if you can't see something in your mind, then you have no chance when you get up there on the balance beam, right?
Motivation and having a goal is like totally dope and critical, I might add. It's like a general looking over a contested city and being like, we're going to be at the end of that flagpole by tomorrow, fellas. We're going to capture this fucking city. Cool. Everyone's happy. That doesn't get the tanks going. That doesn't tell the troops where to go. That doesn't get the hospital in the back to get ready to accept some casualties, shit like that. When you are like, I'm going to gain 20 pounds on each lift. Sweet. What's day one going to look like at the gym?
You don't have to feel good about it. You just have to keep going. The feeling will pass, but you will remain. You are greater than your feelings. Going to bed late and waking up early to work for a few days won't kill you. You're not going to burn out. You're doing what it takes.
But I've never wanted to quit. Like, that's never been in my mind. Like, in terms of taking a break. Yeah, like on some like, you know, let me take a little week break or some shit. Like, or let me just slow down real quick. But every time where I've said that and I've chose to do the opposite, shit's been flying colors. So like I just take them as signs, as in like, like you gotta keep going.
You can't say to a young person like the material possessions, they're not going to bring you happiness. Because actually, they kind of will. But not having the watch won't make you happy. Getting it is fun. Having stuff isn't. Getting stuff is fun. The journey is so fun. Like that thing of like, and it's partly the dopamine of like it's the thrill of the acquisition, but the stuff that gives you pleasure long term, it's like it's feelings.
Yeah, having things isn't fun. Getting things is fun. Saying yes to new experiences and trying to seek out things that are markedly different, like genuinely orthogonal to the existing experiences you've had. Sure. You may roll the dice and you may hate improv. But even when you hate it, that might be a thing where you go, that's some negative fucking inspiration shit. I don't want to be like any of these improv motherfuckers. You know, like pretending that they're in a pub in England throwing darts at the board and saying like, oh, I have now. Well, what do you want tonight, sir? So for me, that's at least one way that I think you can kind of artificially inseminate a little bit more inspiration into your life. You do not become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt. And ultimately, hoping that you're going to be able to... believing that you can think your way out of a thinking problem is like believing you can sniff your way out of a cocaine addiction, right? You have to give yourself something else that's going to step change where you're at.
I was hypnotized last week after
go?
we met. And that... I said to her before she hypnotized me, I said...
I kind of gave up on school.
Right.
I kind of gave up on school. I kind of gave up on everything that I had to my old life and just put everything onto my stream. I streamed every day. As I was streaming, there was a clip that kind of blown up. It was on Warstar. You remember Warstar, right? It didn't go viral. It had like maybe 30,000 viewers. So my dad showed my mom, because my dad watches Warstar. My mom seen the video. She's like, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. Why is everybody talking about you like online, blah, blah, blah. Because it was like hate comments. Mm-hmm. So she kicked me out.
Kicked you out where?
No, she told me to quit.
Yeah.
Or I'm leaving. Like, you know, or like you can't do this in my house. I was already averaging like 20 viewers. I had like 1,000 subs, 2,000 subs.
Right.
I'm already going. So I'm like, and once I start something, I'm not stopping.
Right.
Everything worth doing is hard. And the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
I think a lot of entrepreneurship and even personal growth is training yourself on how you respond to hard. Because in the early days, hard was, ooh, stop. This isn't good. I should, this is a warning sign. This is a red flag. I should slow down, or I should stop, I should pivot.
Intention means you have a plan and you are putting just a tiny bit of your pride on the line to say, I'm going to do the plan.
So this is the emotion piece coming in a little.
Oh yeah, sure. Because people can be motivated. And so first of all, almost everyone can be inspired to do damn near anything. Tons of people can be motivated to do damn near anything. How many people actually construct a plan and put their little bit of their nutsack on the line for, am I actually doing the shit? Because intention is the bridge between what you want and what you're gonna get.
Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you're getting, not what anyone else is getting. Whenever you get an opportunity, you take advantage of it. You treat it like it's the Super Bowl. You treat it like it's game day. Go out there and treat practice like no one else does. And I did that every single day. And it was a lot. It was taxing on me.
Your dreams are up to you. I encourage you to always be curious, always seek out things you love, and always work hard once you find it.